So high school for me was a time to connect with friends. I had just landed my first girlfriend at 16 years old. I was playing football, basketball, running track, you name it. I kept myself busy from sunup to sundown, on the football field, in the weight room, hanging out with my girlfriend, anything but except for reading. So I was able to keep my grades up nonetheless, but I wasn't necessarily fully focused. Basically just like any other high school student. I was always waiting for class to end, looking at the clock, trying to keep myself awake. Typical jock waiting for practice to start. Young kids these days are fully attending to their iPhones, their laptops, their video games. They don't find time to read. Who has the time to read? Reading is for nerds, right? So once I got to college, I roomed with a political science major who was always reading. So it was mostly conservative novels, but one afternoon he took me down to Barnes and Noble, made me buy 3 or 4 books. One specific book that changed my mind about reading was Lone Survivor, which is now a blockbuster movie, but before the book was written by Marcus Luttrell. I read the book before I saw the movie. I opened it up and couldn't put it down. It was emotional, it was moving, and I'm pretty sure I shed a few. I guarantee I shed a few tears. So once I read that, I thought, what else out there? What else is out there for me to read? I purchased a Kindle and I haven't looked back. I think Americans are spending way too much time watching television, playing video games, scrolling through social media. We just don't spend enough time reading books, and this is Americans from any age, in my opinion. So let me tell you some of the benefits from reading. Lately, I've been more and more interested in historical biographies. One specifically that I'm reading is about James Madison, written by Lynn Cheney. I have a few more that I'm going to read about George Washington and Alexander Hamilton. So, reading these biographies is helping me learn a little bit more about founding fathers. With regards to public education, they only really just touch the surface. Diving into books like these, you get a better understanding of the life of President Madison, a better understanding of some of the early events of the Republic. Reading can educate you. There was an email that went viral sent by General James Mattis, who is now our Secretary of Defense. He received an email from one of his field commanders who had just simply asked how to find time reading. General Mattis owns a library of over 5,000 books. He went on to tell the commander about how, without reading, you're learning the hard way through experience. If you read, you're learning from the past. You're learning from others' mistakes and prior experience on how to do things, from what works and what doesn't work. So, if you take strategy books, for example, one of the most popular war novels was written by a man named Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And this book was written back in the Chinese imperial age, but is still widely used today. Reading can also enhance your imagination. So, a couple, J.R.R. Tolkien and J.K. Rowling, are experts in this field. Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings have been huge hits with readers in the past. These help develop the imagination by putting yourself into a world of fiction through the eyes of Harry Potter or whoever the main character is. So, more than creativity and knowledge, reading can be a stress reliever in many ways. According to a study I found from the University of Sussex in the UK, 68% of your daily stress is relieved through reading, whether it's a newspaper, magazine, or a book. 6 minutes of reading a day is all you need to remove and clear your mind from stress that is building up from work, or from your family, or whatever the stress comes from. Another book I read recently was written by a man named Chris Voss. So, Chris led the FBI's anti terrorism negotiation unit for 24 years, and previously he was with Kansas City Police Department. The book was about negotiating and how to enhance your negotiating skills. Now, to be fair, the book was more geared towards getting out of a hostage situation, but he also gave a few pointers on how to negotiate a new contract at work, how to negotiate in a new job interview, or how to buy a new car, which gives me the chance to transition to my next topic, finding a good job. So, with knowledge and creativity, you can find books out there to learn tools, whether it's how to kill a job interview, negotiate a contract, or even learn a thing or two about specific job requirements to enhance your skills. So, I've hit educational benefits, imagination, stress, finding a good job. My last topic is just fundamentals. Reading is important for simple function in today's society. So currently I live in Italy, and it's obviously pretty hard to read a restaurant menu or traffic signs on the streets because I can't read Italian. So luckily most of the locals actually speak better English than me, so I don't have to worry too much. But simple tasks like reading the label of a medicine bottle or reading instructions can be extremely difficult if you don't know how to read. It'll help you discover new things, develop a wider, broader imagination, gives you more of a creative side. So, to conclude, reading can help you relieve stress, develop your imagination, learn new things about history or different war battles or anything. We spend too much time, especially the younger generation, but even older people, glued to video game systems, watching, the Super Bowl's coming up. We need to spend more time and energy reading books and learning, less time sitting on your couch watching TV. One of my favorite movies, and I'll relate this back to reading, is Good Will Hunting. So if you take a look at Will, the main character, played by Matt Damon, if you haven't seen the movie, you should see it because it's my favorite movie. He grew up in foster care, never really went to public schools or had any kind of formal education. But along with a photographic memory, Will dedicated himself to learning, reading books, how to do math, physics, chemistry, calculus, and he did it on 50 cents and late charges at the public library. So the moral of the argument, 50 cents is all you need. 50 cents is all you need to learn as much as Will Hunting did. Not really. But try to set a goal. See, my goal is one book a month, which is 12 books a year. It's kind of been my New Year's resolution for the past 2 years. Last year I didn't hit it, so hopefully this year I'll get it. But maybe you read 6 books a year, or just even start with one. Carve out some time at the end of the day to read a novel, or just to read up on some of the latest news around the world. Or something I've even done is Audible, audiobooks. I've read a few of those. You'll find that it's incredibly soothing, and you'll release some stress while you're at it.